You're listening to the Latino Nerd.
Yay!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Latino Nerd. I am the Latino Nerd, and joining me today, well, this man has had quite the resume.
Okay.
He is technically the first winner of the women's Money in the Bank match. He made a name for himself and captured the hearts and minds of everyone when he went toe to toe with Braun Strowman. Joining me tonight is Pretty Jimmy himself, James Ellsworth. How you doing, man?
What's going on, buddy? I'm doing good here during this pandemic or, quarantine or whatever they call it, and just making the best of it.
Damn it, I love it. Yeah. Thank you for joining me, man.
Oh, man, no problem. My fiance knows you, and she made me do it. I'm kidding. I'm happy to do it. I don't mind talking at all. I like to talk all day. I talk a lot.
Well, thank you. This is the perfect place to talk. So, welcome, man. Welcome. Um, so I'll get right into it. How'd that whole thing with Braun Strowman and your WWE debut come about?
Well, yeah, like when WWE comes to your town or 250 miles or less, if you're an indie wrestler, you could send them like pictures of you on a resume, and they look for what's called extras. You could be a guy that gets beat up real quick like I did. You could be a security guard. You could be a rosebud back in the day when they had Adam Rose. A lot of guys got to be rosebuds. You're basically like an extra for a movie. You don't really matter. You're there to help the stars out with whatever they need at the time. So anytime they came to town, I did that, and the Strowman thing, I got picked for it by Arn Anderson, who was the agent in the match, and we were all to the races, as they say, after that.
Nice. That was I remember one of my. I've been a wrestling fan pretty much since I was maybe 4 or 5, and that whole segment I do have to say stands among like one of my favorite moments in WWE history, like ever.
I appreciate that, man. It definitely is one of my favorite segments ever as well.
Nice. So, if I have this correct, you were trained by the late great Axel Rotten.
Yeah, man. He taught me more than anybody. He took me to indie shows, where I took him. He got my car, and he would train me before the shows, and um, just the car rides with him. I learned so much, and I don't think I would have made it with WWE without his knowledge. He was a very knowledgeable man about wrestling, and I appreciate and I'm blessed with the memories and all the knowledge that he has given me.
Nice, nice. I was a big ECW fan, and Axel Rotten was one of my absolute favorites. I remember him, Steve Carino, Roadkill, like those were like my Roadkill. I remember like being the first big man I would see doing like acrobatic moves, and I was like, well, if that fat guy can make it, I could be a fat guy, and I could be a fat guy wrestler too.
Well, yeah, Roadkill was very underrated. I mean, I like his tag team with Danny Doring, and I got to know Danny Doring a little bit early in my career. But yeah, Roadkill was underrated, man. I enjoyed his work. The Amish gimmick was real cool. Nobody else did it, and yeah, it's a shame he never did anything else because he was pretty entertaining for sure.
He was. So with that whole thing, not ask you to spill any like major secrets. So after the whole thing with Braun Strowman, was that just a thing where you were like, this is it for me, or like were you actively like sought out by WWE like after that match?
Immediately after the match, I got to the back, and Arn Anderson, who was the agent for the match, like I was saying, told me that Vince McMahon wanted to see me, and I was scared that I did something wrong. I was like, wait, why does Vince McMahon want to see me? He's going to chew me out and throw me out of the building, tell me I'm never welcome back here. What did I do wrong?
Right.
So I went and saw him, and he's like, hey, you did an excellent job, young man. You should be proud of yourself. And I said, thank you, sir. It means a lot to me. He said, gonna hire you. I'll be in touch. And he shook my hand. I was like, he said, what? What did he say? Like,
That's amazing.
the rest of the day after that's a blur. I was, because I was go with catering and sit down and everybody's telling me good job and all, and it was cool. Like, I mean, like Chris Jericho, Enzo Amore, who was there, just a bunch of like guys, and they're all telling me good job. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, did Vince McMahon just tell me he was going to hire me? Did he really? Like, what? Like, it's just something like that you don't expect.
Right. And I know getting to WWE is a huge dream for a lot of guys who get into the wrestling business. You have some guys who are happy being on the indies forever, but for a lot of guys, like WWE is it. Did you have like that big, like, what was your big, holy shit, I made it moment?
Um, when he that right there, when Vince McMahon told me that he was going to hire me, I'm like, and then 6 weeks later he did. He gave me the contract and all, and I was like, wow, like, and that's all I ever wanted to do in wrestling was make it to WWE. I said,
Right.
if I, and up until that point, I had been wrestling 14 years on the indies since I was 17 years old, and people would tell me all the time, man, oh, you're too small, or you don't look GQ enough for what they like, or you're not athletic enough. Or I thought to myself, anytime anybody says anything negative, it literally goes in one ear and out the other. Because I just heard this Eminem song recently. He's like, I have 4 million fans and 8 million haters. He said, for every fan you have double the haters. And that really stuck to me. Yep. And that's your whole life. Because if you accomplish something that people don't think you can do, man, they don't like that. And like look at Tom Brady, greatest quarterback ever. I'm a Ravens fan, and I can honestly say Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever, but more people hate on him than any football player ever because he's the best. And so when I got there, I just thought to myself, like, man, I did it. I didn't pay attention to the negatives, focused on the positives. And that's what you got to do with life. You can't pay attention to any negativity. There's so much of it, especially now, and you can't let it hold you down. You got to ignore the noise, and and you got to keep fighting. And that's what I did. And I'm very proud of those accomplishments. And I'm not done yet. I got more new goals that I made for myself. Getting back there and doing more is one of them. And hopefully we will accomplish that soon.
Right on. I love it. So now I want to say you made your CZW debut. That was Tournament of Death 5.
It was 5 or 6. I don't know. I don't pay attention to any of it.
How the hell did you end up at CZW? And that's a jungle.
Oh man, well, I respect what those guys do, but I'm not a big fan of it. So I used to travel a lot with Ruckus, and Ruckus and I are still good friends to this day. Ruckus is a guy that should be a bigger name in wrestling. He's amazing talent. He did stuff in those days, 2005, 2006. The guys are doing on TV now that stole from him, and that's the God's honest truth. So I just used to go to shows with him. And he got me on there, and we wrestled each other. And, I did CZW here and there after that, but, it wasn't my cup of tea. Nothing against anybody. But, I just like being entertained, having fun, and being a goofball. So that's what I'm about. CZW is a little more hardcore and deathmatch and then the acrobatic stuff. And, it's just not for me. But I had fun when I was there, especially in those days, getting a little bit of notoriety off of that. So I appreciated the cup of coffee I had there.
I love it, the cup of coffee. Now, do you have like a favorite like opponent? Like, who was your favorite person to go against?
Oh man, it's AJ Styles. He's the best in the world. I have two. So AJ Styles, because he's the best in-ring wrestler in the world. And when I got the opportunity to work with John Cena in a tag match, Carmella and I against John Cena and Nikki Bella on SmackDown, I just thought to myself, like, man, this is the biggest name in the business, and I'm in the ring with him. Like, if I'm just important enough a little bit this very second to be in the ring with him, I did something right, because they put me in the ring with their number one guy. So
Right.
that meant a lot to me. So those are my two. AJ, because he is, in my humble opinion, the best in-ring performer in the world, and John Cena, because this day and age, he's the biggest name in the wrestling business.
Yes, I love to hear someone else give John Cena praise, because I feel like John Cena is the Tom Brady of the wrestling industry, if you will.
4 million
And
fans, 8 million haters.
absolutely. And I always hear people, and I've had this argument up and down. People go, "Well, John Cena's bad," and blah, blah. And I'm like, but name a bad John Cena match. Like, if he's so bad.
You can't. He had a real good match with Brock Lesnar. When Brock Lesnar first came back, it was Brock Lesnar's first match back in WWE in 2012, I believe. And God, it was good. And then John Cena and AJ Styles 2017 Royal Rumble, amazing. John Cena versus Roman Reigns in 2018, I believe it was, amazing. Matt, list him versus Daniel Bryan, like him versus Shawn Michaels. The list goes on. Him versus Edge, dude, he's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
4 million fans, 8 million haters.
Now, one thing that stuck out about me the first time, one thing that stuck out with me the first time I saw you in the ring, well, your tattoos your tattoos stuck out, and I looked and I was like, oh man, he's an Offspring fan.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife goes, how the hell do you know that? And I'm like, bro, I know the album cover of Conspiracy of One when I see it.
Yeah, man, I'm a big Offspring fan. It's crazy. Like I talk to Noodles sometimes, and
No way.
yeah, I just messaged him on Instagram one time. We started talking back and forth. Next thing I know, the Offspring page followed me, and their tattoos are on action figures now. They thought that was cool, and whenever they have a concert together in the U.S., I'm going to go. And I keep telling those guys when they play Pretty Fly for a White Guy, I want to come on stage and dance to it. And all.
That's amazing. Now, that brings me to my next question. Were there any kind of like legal hurdles or anything getting those tattoos put on those figures?
No, because the Offspring guys are so cool. They thought they got a kick out of it.
Right.
Anything of it, man. They're just cool guys.
That's always awesome.
If I had a Metallica tattoo, Lars might have said something about it.
But fair point. Like, he got a tattoo of the Black Album. Like, how can you tell? Stop it.
Ride the Lightning album or something. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Or the Metallica Ninja Star is what it would be from the Reload album.
Oh, Jesus. Like, fine. You didn't sue me for a Reload tattoo. I'll remove it. You can.
Yeah, I'd get, like a Megadeth tattoo over it or something.
That's amazing. So I guess now I have to know. Inquiring minds want to know, what is your favorite Offspring album?
Smash. Love Smash, man.
Nice.
Love it. Listen to it a million times.
No hesitation. I love that. I have a buddy I work with. When he found out I was going to have you on the podcast, he was like, you have to ask him what his favorite Offspring album is.
Yes, it's got to know, man. I love the Offspring. I do. Like I said, Smash is just amazing. Got to Get Away on there, and it's such a cool album. Yeah, man, I've been itching to go to Offspring concert. It's been a while. I mean, obviously there's no concerts going on really right now, but I can't wait to, I want to go at least one more in my lifetime.
Absolutely. I think I was supposed to see them. Was that tour they had with 311?
Yeah, I've seen them a few times, and it's been a while because I've been so busy. But I saw them at Warped Tour, I think 2006 or 7 or 5. I don't know, 5, 6, or 7. And yeah, they're just amazing, dude. After this interview, I'm gonna put them on here and relax.
I hear that. That's the best. That's the best way to be. So now I've gotten into this thing where my daughter has really started to appreciate my taste in music. Is it the same with your little one?
Well, yeah, they my fiance, they listen to what she listens to. They're all buddy, and so which they're enjoying the music she listens to, so that's good.
That's always good. I imagine her running around the house singing Marilyn Manson's "Sweet Dreams"
Oh yeah,
cover.
yeah. She knows a couple of songs. My youngest daughter's 5, and she knows a couple of songs already. I'm like, oh man. I mean, I'm a big Manson fan too, so it doesn't bother me.
Right, but you're like, oh, geez.
Yeah, it is what it is. They're gonna like what they like when they get older anyway.
Right. So, I said, I have to know. I've been friends with your fiance now for 2 decades. How did you guys meet?
That's
Curious.
what's crazy. In 2011, January 2011. So we've been knowing each other 10 years now.
Wow.
She used to wrestle. She stopped wrestling in 2012, but she used to wrestle, and I met her at a show, and I was like, man, this girl is beautiful. And I was always a big flirt, especially back in those days. Like I've cut it out now since I got engaged, but
Right.
I was like, so I went up to her. I'm like, hey, I'm so and so, and I'm like, and I couldn't say anything to her. I was so scared to talk to her. And after the show, I added her on Facebook and was like, "Hey, it was great meeting you. I was too shy to ask you this, but I'm sure you get it all the time. But I'd like to take you out." And she had a boyfriend, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend, but it was nice meeting you. She's very sweet." And I was like, so we just stayed friends over the years, and it took her and the guy broke up like several years later, 6 or 7 years later. And I was recently single too from the mother of my children. I had split up. It was like I split up with her, I think 3 months before they split up, her and her.
Right.
And it's just one of the, and I was like, hey, and I was in WWE at the time. And I was like, hey, you want to hang out? She's like, how can we hang out? You're always on the road. I was like, and I was checking the schedule to see when we're close to New Jersey. I was like, hey, we're in New Jersey like 2 weeks from now. I'll totally hang out with you. Like, and then we hung out, and I think like 3 months later we started dating, and we took it slow for a while, but we've been living together for a year now, a year today actually. So it's crazy.
That's
And
awesome.
she's changed me for the better, like made me a better person. Um, I've really calmed down a lot and matured a lot, and it's
Right.
because I think when you find your person, I've never been married, so it's crazy. Like the internet for years said I was married. I'm like, I've never been married. Why is the internet's
Right.
weird? So I haven't been married, but yeah, we got engaged in November of 2019, and we're planning on getting married this year. Who knows? With cause she wants a big wedding. Who knows? Because the pandemic, as I like to call it. But yeah, man, we're happy and we're doing very well, and I owe a lot of my maturity to her. So
That's amazing. Like I said, I've known her since she was a kid, and I met her because you probably know her friend Leanne.
yeah,
Leanne's entire family, like the Savastano family, has been very, very close to me for years. And like her mom is like another mother to me. So we
no,
all met at Leanne's birthday party, and immediately, like her and I were just like blah 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 blah, blah, and we just started talking about wrestling like the whole time. And I was like, yeah, this is fun.
yeah, it's not often you meet a beautiful girl that likes wrestling. It's crazy, and yeah, man, she's definitely the best thing that's happened to me. So I'm very blessed that I have her in my life for sure.
Right. It's wonderful, honestly, and you guys are both awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Now, this one's for me because I have to know, what is Carmella really like?
Oh man, like she is so cool. Like she's the woman that like you see her on TV, all the guys like her and everything, and you
Right.
think like, yeah, this chick's probably just such a terrible person. Man, I got to know her really well. We're still friends to this day. She's awesome. Like just so cool, man. Like so chill, fun to talk to. Like this year, like here's an example. My oldest daughter's 8, and when on her birthday, she loves Carmella, and on her birthday, I text Carmella and I said, hey, you want to do a video for my daughter? And she'd love it. And I'd say about an hour later, she sent me the video. Like she's that cool, just an
Oh,
awesome,
that's amazing.
yeah, just an awesome person. and she's been through a lot, and she's doing really well, and I'm very happy to have helped her with her journey in WWE progress. And
Right.
she's progressed very nicely, and I was a big part of that, and we've always been friendly, and I think I made a friend for life with her for sure.
That's awesome. And she seems like an awesome person, and I'm glad that my dreams weren't crushed in that aspect. One more question, and I'll let you go to go enjoy life outside of Zoom. Um, what can we expect from James Ellsworth in 2021 and beyond?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna keep grinding, man. Like, that's all I know. I don't know how to stop. Like, sometimes I go, man, I made it, I did it. Like, maybe I should take a step back and focus on something else. But man, like, I just wrestled Sunday in Oklahoma at an indie show,
Right.
and I just don't know anything else. Like, I love it. I know what I can do to help any show that I'm on. Um, and I'm gonna keep grinding, man. My goal right now is to at least get back and do more things with WWE. So that's my goal right now. It could happen 6 days from now. It could happen 6 years from now. But that's my goal, and I'll keep trucking, keep grinding, and keep fighting until it happens.
All right. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I look forward to it. I for one will strap in for the ride.
All
Well,
right.
I'm gonna let you go on and enjoy your life, man.
Charge
I
my phone
appreciate you
because
doing this.
it's at 4%.
Yeah, see, perfect. So
But
I'm
nice
gonna let
chatting
you
with you,
go.
man. Take
Same,
care. And we'll talk. I'm sure we'll meet someday. And I look forward to the day. So you guys stay safe out there.
same. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Blatino Nerd. I will catch you on the next one, and as always, keep it nerdy.